Welcome back, Truth Seekers, to another episode of the Evident Conspiracy Files, where we peel back the layers of deception that the elites don't want you to see. I'm your host, Mark Mayhew, and today we're diving into the dark heart of control mechanisms, vaccines, and a newly confirmed UK digital ID system. We won't talk about just any vaccine, but how they've been weaponised for corruption and control, especially targeting our most vulnerable, babies and young children. And now, with digital IDs rolling out, the elite's grip is tightening. We'll explore historical cover-ups, recent data, whistleblowers, and how these systems could merge into a dystopian nightmare. We will list all sources of our research, but of course it is always best for you to do your own research and reach your own conclusion for you and your family.
Welcome to the Evident Conspiracy Files, with bonus episodes only available on Apple Podcasts. Apple Podcasts can still be listened to from Android devices. Please come over and enjoy all we have to offer. Episodes are researched from publicly available data, including declassified files from across the globe and whistleblowers. We may publish some of these data sets on social media platforms like X. Any views or opinions from the host or members of our team are solely theirs, and we hold no liability for information that may change over time as more information becomes available. Remember, some of the areas we gather our facts may be from institutions with an agenda. Question everything, and always do your own research.
This episode, Digital ID Shadows and Vaccine Control. We will cover the control mechanics and the importance we question everything. I've had all my shots, but that's target practice.
If you caught our last episode, Three-Eye Atlas, the Waking Alien Sentinel, you'll know we mix fun with the fright. Joining us again is Grim, with a voice to rattle your bones and maybe spark a chuckle. Or maybe even just get us banned.
Mwahaha. Why did the vaccine go to school? To improve its shot at success. But beware, listeners, the real joke's on us.
Thanks for the bone-rattling intro, Grim. Although, let's just dive in. Vaccines are sold as miracles of modern medicine, saving lives and eradicating disease. But behind the curtain lies a web of corruption, control and cover-ups. And now, with the UK's new digital ID scheme, the stage is set for total surveillance. Let's start with a classic polio vaccine. Let's rewind to the 1950s. Polio was the boogeyman, paralysing children, filling iron lungs, striking fear into parents. Then came Jonas Salk's inactivated polio vaccine in 1955, followed by Albert Sabin's oral version. The narrative: vaccines wiped out polio. Case closed. But dig deeper, and it crumbles. Declassified documents reveal the definition of polio was changed post-vaccine rollout. Before 1955, paralysis for just 24 hours was enough for polio diagnosis. After, however, you had to be paralytic for 60 days, and non-paralytic cases were reclassified as aseptic meningitis. This wasn't an innocent update. It slammed case numbers overnight, making the vaccine look like a miracle. Enter Dr. Susan Humphreys, who on Joe Rogan's podcast in March of 2025 exposed how polio testing methods were altered to skew the data. She argued many polio cases were actually DDT poisoning or environmental toxins, but the vaccine took the credit while the culprits were ignored. She argued many polio cases were actually DDT poisoning or environmental toxins, but the vaccine took the credit whilst culprits were ignored. Worse, The Salk vaccine contained SV40, a monkey virus linked to cancers, covered up for years until the FDA declassified documents showing millions were exposed. The Qatar incident didn't help. 40,000 children got polio from a defective vaccine batch, yet the programme rolled on. So why the cover-up? Control? Yeah. A scared population lines up for the shots without question, and now digital IDs could enforce compliance.
They don't need to enforce vaccines. I've just had my latest with no identification. That said, I wasn't just a bag of bones before I got jabbed 176 times.
Speaking of control, on September 26 of 2025, the UK government announced BritCard, a mandatory digital ID for workers, pitched as a way to simplify right-to-work checks and combat forged documents. It's free for citizens and legal residents, but critics warn it's a Trojan horse for mass surveillance. Starting with employment, it could expand to healthcare, banking, or even social media access. Link it to a digital currency and suddenly your ID controls your life. Miss a tax payment and your wallet's frozen. Speak out. Services will be restricted.
I confirm, starting next month, there will be a significant change in how authorities can access your phone. From now on, authorities will be able to review your device at any time without needing prior notice or your permission. This means that your messages, photos, apps, and even private conversations could be checked instantly. To make this possible, AI-powered scanners will be placed in major cities like London, Manchester, and Birmingham. These devices will ensure consistent checks are carried out on mobile phones across the country. It will affect everyone: students, workers, families, and businesses. The goal is to provide a safer environment for all, but it also represents a shift in how privacy is managed. Once access is granted, it won't stop at your phone. Your personal data may be managed differently, and there could be implications for how your information is handled across platforms. This isn't just about mobile phones. It's about redefining privacy, trust, and how our most sensitive information is processed. We're now at a point where personal space is being viewed in a new light.
Cyber security experts call it hacking a goldmine, with one breach exposing your every move. Over 1.6 million Brits immediately petitioned against the BritCard, calling it digital control. On X, users warn of digital ID, digital currency that would just equal game over. It's mass surveillance. This isn't just a UK issue either. It's a global blueprint echoing EU and Australian schemes, all following the WEF, which is the World Economic Forum.
Why don't vaccines or digital IDs get lost? They're injected with directions. But seriously, folks, if they're so safe, why the secrecy?
Please take a moment to follow and subscribe so you don't miss an episode.
That's my line. That's my line, my line, my line, my line.
This week, I discovered a CDC whistleblower, Dr. William Thompson. He dropped a bombshell in 2014 admitting the CDC manipulated a 2004 MMR vaccine study. Original data showed a 340% increase in the autism risk in African American boys, vaccinated before the age of 3, but the CDC had scrapped the documents to hide it. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. echoed in a September X post by Holden. He has pushed for investigations into the Vaccine Safety Data Link, a hidden CDC database allegedly holding real injury data. Declassified Pfizer documents also reveal COVID vaccine trials skipped long-term safety testing for kids, downplaying myocarditis. And with digital IDs, governments could mandate vaccines, tracking compliance via your Brit card or similar systems in other countries, flagging people for exclusion.
The chair recognizes the gentleman from Florida, Mr. Posey, for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise today on matters of research and scientific integrity. To begin with, I am absolutely, resolutely pro-vaccine. Advancements in medical immunization have saved countless lives and greatly benefited public health. That being said, it's troubling to me that in a recent Senate hearing on childhood vaccinations, it was never mentioned that our government has paid out over $3 billion through a vaccine injury compensation program for children who have been injured by vaccinations. Regardless of the subject matter, parents making decisions about their children's health deserve to have the best information available to them. They should be able to count on federal agencies to tell them the truth. For these reasons, I bring the following matter to the House floor. In August 2014, Dr. William Thompson, a senior scientist at the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, worked with a whistleblower attorney to provide my office with documents related to a 2004 CDC study that examined the possibility of a relationship between mumps, measles, rubella, vaccines, and autism. In a statement released in August 2014, Dr. Thompson stated, "I regret that my co-authors and I omitted statistically significant information in our 2004 article published in the Journal of Pediatrics." End quote. Mr. Speaker, I respectfully request the following excerpts from the statement written by Dr. Thompson be entered into the record. Now quoting Dr. Thompson. "My primary job duties while working in the immunization safety branch from 2000 to 2006 were to lead or co-lead 3 major vaccine safety studies. The MADDSP, MMR, Autism Cases Control Study was being carried out in response to the Wakefield Lancet study that suggested an association between the MMR vaccine and an autism-like health outcome. There were several major concerns among scientists and consumer advocates outside the CDC in the fall of 2000 regarding the execution of the Verstraeten study. One of the important goals that was determined up front in the spring of 2001 before any of these studies started was to have all 3 protocols vetted outside the CDC prior to the start of the analyses so that consumer advocates could not claim that we were presenting analyses that suited our own goals and biases. We hypothesized that if we found statistically significant effects at either 18 or 36-month thresholds, we would conclude that vaccinating children early with MMR vaccine could lead to autism-like characteristics or features. We all met and finalized the study protocol and analysis plan. The goal was to not deviate from the analysis plan to avoid the debacle that occurred with the Verstraeten thimerosal study published in Pediatrics in 2003. At the September 5th meeting, we discussed in detail how to code race for both the sample and the birth certificate sample. At the bottom of Table 7, it also shows that for the non-birth certificate sample, the adjusted race effect statistical significance was huge. All the authors and I met and decided sometime between August and September 2002 not to report any race effects for the paper. Sometime soon after the meeting, we decided to exclude reporting any race effects. The co-authors scheduled a meeting to destroy documents related to the study. The remaining 4 co-authors all met and brought a big garbage can into the meeting room and reviewed and went through all the hard copy documents that we had thought we should discard and put them in a huge garbage can. However, because I assumed it was illegal and would violate both FOIA and DOJ requests, I kept hard copies of all documents in my office and I retained all associated computer files. I believe we intentionally withheld controversial findings from the final draft of the pediatrics paper. End of quote of the doctor. Mr. Speaker, I believe it's our duty to ensure that the documents Dr. Thompson provided are not ignored. Therefore, I will provide them to members of Congress and the House committees upon request. Considering the nature of the whistleblowers' documents, as well as the involvement of the CDC, a hearing and a thorough investigation is warranted. So I ask, Mr. Speaker, I beg, I implore my colleagues on the appropriations committees to please take such action. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I yield back.
Now, recent data that's got the establishment squirming. A Henry Ford health system study, highlighted in September of 2025, found vaccinated kids had 2.5 times higher chronic conditions than unvaccinated ones. Asthma, 4.29% times higher. Neurodevelopmental disorders, 5.53 times higher. Autoimmune disease, nearly 6 times higher. Critics claim detection bias, but if the vaccines are safe, why the gap? For babies, it's worse. The CDC's data shows 40% of post-vaccine deaths from 1991 to the year 2020 were infants under 6 months old. Studies link higher vaccine doses to increased infant mortality, with mRNA shots showing a 400% spike in severe adverse events in 6 to 23-month-old babies. The aluminium in these vaccines is a neurotoxin. It crosses the blood-brain barrier, which is tied to autism, asthma, and SIDS. The CDC's 25 dose by age 1 is a toxic overload mess, just waiting to happen. The human body simply isn't designed to have that much toxic material in it. Some even claim 77% excess baby deaths in 2025 were linked to maternal mRNA vaccinations. And digital IDs, they could enforce vaccine schedules, denying unvaccinated kids school, healthcare access. All of this would be tracked in real time. Then there's the Secret Covenant, a spooky online document from June 2025 alleging elites use vaccines and toxins to keep us ill and compliant. We will use soft metals, etc. The vaccines will push them over the edge. Real or not, MKUltra's declassified experiments prove governments test on citizens. Vaccines and digital IDs fit the pattern. Tools to monitor and control.
Why are vaccines like bad boyfriends? They promise protection, but leave side effects. Mwahaha. Wake up, sheeple. Credit to Revamped Knowledge for the following clip.
What if I told you humans were built to live 300 years, maybe even more? I'm not talking fairy tales, not Bible stories, not gods or magic. I'm talking real human biology, the kind they don't teach you about. See, in ancient times, China, India, even early Africa, people lived hundreds of years. Not once, not twice, over and over. Different cultures, same story. And here's what gets me. How did ancient people from completely different parts of the world all come up with the same exact lie? Not a similar story, the same numbers. Hundreds of years lived, again and again. Different cultures, no contact, no reason to copy each other. So either they all somehow imagined the same thing, or maybe it wasn't a lie at all. Maybe it was the truth, and someone turned it into a myth on purpose. Truth is, our bodies were built to last. We've got systems inside us that repair cells, fix damage, even reverse aging. But now, they don't work like they used to. Why? Because somebody tampered with the system. They changed the food, they poisoned the water, they filled the air with signals and dust. They gave us pills for everything and made sure nothing truly healed. You think it's all by accident? Nah, this was a plan. Because a man who lives 300 years, he remembers, he questions. He doesn't obey so easy. But a man who dies at 70, he forgets everything and passes it on before he ever figures it out. So no, your body didn't fail you. They just broke it on purpose. And they've been doing it for a very, very long time.
This is just a theory, not a fact.
Connecting the dots. From polio's fudged stats to destroyed autism data to infant harm and digital IDs. It's about control. Declassified World Health Organization and Gates Foundation documents tie vaccine programs to population control, with sterilization agents in tetanus shots, for example. Whistleblowers like Thompson and Humphreys faced threats or lost their careers. Yet farmers shielded by the 1986 Vaccine Injury Act. For babies, it's criminal. Their immature immune systems can't handle aluminium, formaldehyde, or polysorbate 80, leading to brain damage and SIDS, which all seem to spike post-vaccination. Digital IDs amplify this. Imagine a brick card, for example, flagging unvaccinated families, restricting their access to society. Social media users warn, deep states win, AI monitoring and digital IDs are rolling out as planned.
Knock knock. Who's there? Vaccine. Vaccine who? Vaccine you wish you never took. Hee hee. Joke aside, we owe it to our children to question and make sure Big Pharma are not profiting from our kids' poor health.
Truth seekers, the evidence is clear. Vaccines and digital IDs aren't just about health or convenience. They're tools for corruption and control. From historical cover-ups to recent infant harms and the UK's brick card, it's time to question everything. Research, demand transparency, support privacy-focused technology, and protect your little ones. Thanks for tuning in. Share this episode, subscribe and keep up with new episodes and join the fight. Until next time, stay vigilant and question everything. And we will be back with more facts on digital ID shortly. Please reach out by email to the_ECF@icloud.com and let us know what you think, or simply leave a comment. Together we are strong. From today we must stand. We will see you again somewhere in time.
Thank you for listening to the Evident Conspiracy Files on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, with bonus episodes only available on Apple Podcasts. Apple Podcasts can still be listened to from Android devices. Please come over and enjoy all we have to offer. Follow us on X. Any views or opinions from the host or members of our team are solely theirs. Remember, question everything and always do your own research. Leave a review. It really helps us keep the lights on. We will see you again somewhere in time.
Thank you, I've been grim.